We're back with our Libertarian Town Hall. Governors Gary Johnson and Bill Weld will now take your questions on social issues. For example,
how are you going to legalize marijuana in all its forms? Cannabis, the plant, indica, sativa, and hemp. How are you going to do it?
How are you going to do it?
Well, it's going to be a state's issue. But first day in office, we deschedule marijuana as a Class 1 narcotic, which opens up a whole vast research and development that can go along with the marijuana industry, and also frees up banking in those states where it is legal.
Let's broaden it to other drugs. On Facebook, Michael Cope asked it this way. How do you plan to end the war on drugs? Legalization or decriminalization? And would you do it for other drugs?
Well, since 1999, I've advocated only the legalization of marijuana, believing when we do that as a country, and I believe we are going to do that as a country, then we will focus on drugs first as a health issue rather than a criminal justice issue.
On to another touchy, a newer social issue. On Facebook, Brendan Rush asks, why should a private business owner be forced by government to serve a customer? A store can choose not to serve a customer who has no shoes and no shirt, but a person who's a Christian has to bake a cake for someone whom he disagrees with? Johnson will claim similarities to Jim Crow, but there's no similarity. The customer is free to take their business elsewhere. Will Johnson force the Muslim deli owner to sell pork to Christians? I think not.
I think that supporting discrimination is the wrong thing to do, and I think that the legislation that...
You would force the Muslim to sell pork?
By force, that no one would be allowed to discriminate on the basis of religion. Utah has passed some really significant ideal legislation that allows for religious freedom, but it has very clearly staked out the fact that there will be no discrimination against the LGBT community, which I think has been really targeted.
So the Utah statute, for example, says that a church can do anything it wants to as a church. It's in the business of being a church.
All right,
okay?
what about the business, though?
But if the private merchant wants to discriminate on the grounds of race or religion, those are way suspect categories.
The Muslim entrepreneur must sell pork to people.
I think that if we pass the legislation, well, you're talking about potentially opening up discrimination. In my opinion, that maybe businesses in this country discriminate. Quarter of the businesses in this country discriminate against Muslims because let's just be safe.
That might happen.
Nobody has to sell pork if they don't want to.
You're talking about a situation that really doesn't exist, meaning you have to sell the cake to the individual that wants to buy the cake. You don't have to decorate the cake the way the individual wants to. That's First Amendment. And if that's legislation, John, that needs signing, I'll be glad to sign that legislation. We don't want to be any part of that kind of discrimination of any kind.